Good morning. I'm Melissa Blosser, your Public Information Officer for Douglas County. And today on Inside Douglas County, we are going to be talking about the Minden Main Street project. And I have here with me today Executive Director Sheila Kendrick. Good morning, Sheila.
Good morning.
Thank you so much for being here with us.
Thanks for the invitation.
Yeah, so do you want to start out telling me a little bit about the development of the Minden Main Street project and how it evolved?
Sure. A couple of years ago, the Minden town manager, Jennifer Davidson, and Roxanne Stengel from the town board both thought that a Main Street program probably had some potential in Minden. So they went to a national conference and came back with some really good ideas. And they took that to the Minden town board, and the Minden town board put together a volunteer steering committee to study whether or not a Main Street program was viable in Minden. And the committee came back and said that they had all the parts. It was a good downtown area that used to be the social and economic hub, but that had waned. There were some beautiful historic buildings, there's good small businesses, there's good local residents, and some good community space. And those were sort of some of the critical pieces. And so they moved forward with putting together a Main Street Minden program.
Great. Okay. So there really is, you talked a little bit about this, but there really is a process in developing this program, including appointing a board, committees, and there's something also you talked to me about called a 4-point approach that you've utilized. Would you like to tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah. So there's the face of a Main Street program is all about the fun parts, getting people together and having a good time. But of course, there has to be all that structure that goes into it to make sense of all of it. So we have put together a board of directors. And the 4-point approach is, how do you take a big picture goal and focus it down to the individual steps that you can actually accomplish? So the 4 points are organization, design, promotion, and economic revitalization. An organization is about how do you put a program together and make sure that it has structure, and how do you engage volunteers, and how do you make sure you're doing all the right things that a nonprofit is supposed to do legally, right? Those sorts of things. Design is about how do you make your downtown district beautiful? How do you make it be a place people want to come and spend time and have community pride when they see it? Promotion is about how do you promote the businesses within the district themselves so the businesses do better, and how do you promote the Main Street program itself so that people know that it exists and people want to come and participate. And economic revitalization is about how do we all work together as a community to do things that make the economy of downtown Minden better, such as we've got empty businesses on the street now. How do we work together to make those businesses filled up with restaurants and retail things that people will want to come and visit?
Okay, so what makes the Minden Main Street program different from any of the other programs and organizations we currently have, like such as the Chamber here in Douglas County?
Yeah, it's interesting because I think a lot of people think that it is repetitive, and I've been working with all those organizations. So we have things like the Carson Valley Visitors Authority, and they're focused on tourism. How do we get people who don't live here to come here and spend time? The Chamber is about how do you make individual business owners the best business owners they can be. They help educate them for their specific businesses, the industry they're in. They help keep them current on things like what local and national legislation is taking place that will affect the individual businesses themselves. And then they provide an environment where the business owners can network amongst themselves so that they don't get that sense of isolation in owning a small business and you're out there all by yourself. A Main Street program fits somewhere in between both of those pieces. A Main Street program says, network your residents and your business owners together with the thought process of, if we all work together to improve the economy, then each individual business does better than if they're out there on their own trying to find ways to market and promote their own business.
Great.
So,
well, I think we've seen some of that in Gardnerville already.
Absolutely.
So we have a program to work from. So.
Yeah.
So I know the town of Gardnerville has a successful program as well, and the Main Street project was also a national program, correct? You want to talk a little bit about that?
It is. There's a national Main Street program that it's been in place for 35 years. Wow. And the Main Street Gardnerville program has modeled themselves after that program, as have we. It currently operates in 300 cities in the United States, and the 4-point approach is part of their structure and design that they have put in place in multiple cities to say, this is the successful way to get from where you are to where you want to be.
Wow. Okay, so we talk a lot about economic vitality, about creating distinctive downtowns, the Valley Vision, making the Carson Valley a destination. So how does this program kind of help with that?
So I think that when you talk about economic vitality and Valley Vision, you're talking about really big picture stuff. And you have to break it down at some point so that it can get into bite-sized pieces you can manage. And one of the things that the Main Street program does is it focuses on a specific geographic area that says, okay, let's just try to do downtown distinctive beautification through the design piece of a program. Let's work on building a community that people have even more pride in than they do today. And that sort of bleeds itself out. So as we start to work on Minden, and Main Street Gardnerville works on Gardnerville, those start to come together and we start to collectively create that Valley Vision that is the bigger picture.
Right, great. Okay, so this year you guys participated and put on some great events. I had the opportunity to go to a few of them, such as, you helped with the poker run, and then you had your very own fall fling. Tell me a little bit about those events and their turnout.
Great. So the poker run was fun. The thing about this community that's so great is everybody works together.
Yeah.
So AJ at the Carson Valley Visitors Authority was hosting the poker run stop in Minden Park, which he's done for a number of years. And he invited us to participate so that we could add a little bit of different activity level for folks. So that was fun. It was our first time out. Our first event, which was the Fall Fling in October, was really fun. We had live music, we had movies for the kids, we had some pumpkin decorating, we had restaurants from Minden who came in and served food, and then we had a handful of beer vendors that came from Minden Deli. They had worked with them. And everybody worked together to put this whole day event. And the morning of the event it rained, which surprised us. We were hoping to have it out on the street.
Yeah.
But we just shifted really quickly and moved everything indoors, and it turned out to be this great party where the people who didn't want to be outside could be indoors. Movie was inside, the pumpkins were all inside, and the people who didn't care about weather could be outside. There was food and beer, and we had fire pits outside. So we had probably 500 people come for the first event, which we were really happy about. It was a fun day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My kids came, they watched Frank and Weenie, decorated pumpkins. It was great. It was really, and it just looked so nice and beautiful inside. You guys did a great job with that event. It was beautiful.
And almost everything that was beautiful about it was donated. So Rayleigh's donated the pumpkins, and the local high school art students made all the decorations that we put on the walls. It was such a warm feeling of everybody chipping in to be part of something. It was fun. I'm glad you guys were there.
It was really fun. Yeah, it was great.
Good.
Okay, so Minden Main Street really made a difference at this year's Parade of Lights. Tell about how you enhanced that event on this year's, or in the downtown on Main Street.
Okay. So this year was the Chamber of Commerce's 20th anniversary for the Parade of Lights, and the theme was Emerald. And the town of Minden wanted to turn that into a Wizard of Oz theme. So they were looking to turn what is Esmeralda Ave, the very end of the parade, into Emerald Ave. And they asked if Main Street Minden would partner with them to enhance their existing plans. So we partnered with them to get a live band on the street, so folks would have live music before and after the parade. And then we talked to all of the businesses right there on Esmeralda and worked with them to get outside lighting. So where the town of Minden bought green lights to light all the street lamps, all of the businesses on Esmeralda put green lights on the outside of their business. So it truly, the night of the parade, turned into Emerald Avenue. It was very fun, and we had more fire pits out, and we had s'mores, and yeah, it was a good time.
It was really neat. Yeah, and even before the parade, I think I shared with you, you were walking downtown and all that green, like just getting amped up for it, and all the businesses, the whole, and even in the photos in the background, you can see those green lights actually shining through. It just made a huge difference. And then, gosh, all the people, it was packed down there.
It was packed, yeah.
By the fire pits and the people. I mean, I remember when people stand back because all the people were crowding in as the floats were going by. And good for you guys. That was great.
Yeah, that was fun.
So January is a new year. What are your long-term goals and plans moving into this next year for Minden Main Street?
Yes, so now we get down to the fun parts. And my board of directors is just about to have their first strategic workshop. And so they're going to set out the short-term goals of how do we have events and activities in Minden that bring people in who want to come visit or residents want to participate in, so it helps build that sense of community. But it also gives people a reason to come here and spend money. And that leads us to that long-term goal of how do we get businesses down here that will do well and that residents and visitors will want to visit. So this year's goal is to put some of those pieces in place.
Great. I look forward to that. Coffee place? Maybe.
Absolutely.
Okay, so the Main Street program typically needs volunteers. Are you looking for volunteers? And if people want to get involved in the program, how can they go about doing that?
Yeah, we're absolutely looking for volunteers. The Main Street program is always a volunteer-driven organization, so everyone is a volunteer. Our board of directors right now are all volunteer. We had a great group of volunteers that helped with the fall flaying. We had folks that showed up at noon to help, and we had folks that stayed until almost 10 p.m. to help do the cleanup. So we need volunteers on every level, whether it is that you have an hour a month you could contribute, or you have an hour a day you could contribute. If you have ideas you want to share and that's how you volunteer, we need that. If you have a particular skill, if you're really good at internet research, we need that skill. Then there are also, we need volunteers on the specific committees. So if you're good at design or you're good at promotion, we need those folks as well.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay, so how can they go about contacting you? You want to give them a little bit about your contact information and how they would go? Do they call you, email? I'm sure you have all those forms available to people.
Yeah, so we have a bunch of different ways you can find us. We have a website that is mainstreetminden.com. We have a Facebook page that is also Main Street Minden. We have an email address, which is mainstreetminden@gmail.com, and it's probably the easiest way to reach us. The website itself also has a contact email. They can fill it out right on the website and it'll come straight to me.
Great.
And then if they want to call me directly, the phone number for our program is 309-1101.
Okay, great. So is there anything that we haven't talked about maybe that you thought about after the fact and you want to kind of share or talk about that we didn't go over?
I think the only thing that comes to mind is we have an office set up that's really intended for people to come be part of, and we're getting that, but we don't have enough people yet that know where we are. We're sitting in the upstairs of the CVIC hall. We're right next to the 5th Street Salon and Minden Electric, and I have all kinds of papers and boards up on the walls so that people can come in at any time and share their ideas, what they have of their vision for Minden. We'd like to see that on the wall so that we can keep that in mind when we start to make our plans. I try to keep a jigsaw puzzle on the table, so if you want to come in and do some jigsaw, it's there.
I've been in there, and that is a really neat, and the viewers will have a chance to see some pictures in there. And you also shared with me that you have, people of all ages coming in and giving you ideas, and you guys are really reaching out to a wide demographic of folks to see what they want. You know? I thought that was really interesting.
Everybody has great ideas. They need an opportunity to share them, so please come share them.
Okay, great. Well, thank you so much for agreeing and coming here to be with us today and talk about this great program. We're very excited to have you.
Thanks.
And to have the program.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Okay, I'm Melissa Blosser signing off on this Inside Douglas County.